Let's run through a Sunday draft, perfect draft. Had some people asking me how do I win and place well so much, so I'm just gonna talk through my thoughts, I guess, while drafting. Normally it takes me about 10 minutes. Hopefully I can get through it in 20 when I'm talking. So I look at Dave Winfield and it's not good enough. Bartolo Colon's a really good pitcher here, better than Max Scherzer. Campanella's a good pick, pretty good catcher with pretty good offense. Eddie Matthews, decent, not as good. Wander Franco, I know, is really good. Incredible offense, and you can play him at short. And if you get offered another great shortstop, you can play him at third instead. So right now there's a choice to be made between Colon, Franco, and Campanella. I usually don't pick catchers early because they don't play as much. But really high defense is pretty good. Bartolo Colon, I think I will pass on. I usually like to pick batters over pitchers. They matter a bit more. I think a lot of people will pick Campanella. I'll actually pick Franco here. I might get another catcher that's really good later. Who knows? Not a guarantee. I'm just talking. That's not exactly my reasoning either. I just think Franco's worth more. So let's look at Bunbury. Pretty good center fielder here. Good overall offense with good defense. It's also Fernando Valenzuela with really good pitching. High stamina too is nice. Allen's nowhere near as good as Valenzuela. So you could go Bunbury here. Tim Salmon's not good enough. Davey Johnson's not good enough. Aaron Judge is definitely not good enough. So I'm going with Valenzuela here. And of course, Allen's not as good as Valenzuela. I don't pick relievers this early. Shin-Soo Choo. Have I seen this card before? Okay, so you can play anywhere in the outfield, probably right field. Steven Strasburg, Don Baylor. He looks pretty good. Play him in left. Matt Olson, Carlos Baerga. Ooh, Baerga. Okay, so it's not going to be Strasburg. It's not going to be a reliever. It's not going to be Olson. Chu and Baylor. Let me compare them. So if I'm looking at on-base percentage, it goes 80, 90, 50, basically, versus 83, 63, 81. I think it'd be about the same, maybe a bit better for Chu. There's a lot more power in Baylor, though. 89, 97 versus 88, 63. Chu is slightly better on defense. It's not too important. I think I prefer Baylor a little bit over Chu, but it's close. In terms of on-base percentage, I care about contact the most, and then and then avoid K. Now Carlos Baerga, definitely nowhere near as good. Doesn't have as good on-base percentage or as good of power, but the defensive value is more for Baerga than Baylor. I'm gonna go with Baylor here instead, but you could go with Baerga. Asa Lacy's a pretty good starter. I see that right away. Ty Cobb's insanely good offense. Look at this OBP, especially versus righties. It's crazy. You can play right field or DH. Blazevich is also good, but not as good as Lacy. You know, 166-67 versus 156-70. I usually count movement about twice as much as stuff and control. And I'm just going to take a quick look at the rest of these guys to make sure I'm not going to pick them. Yeah, Linden, or Lacy and Cobb. Jay Clark. Okay, so it looks like it was good I didn't pick the second baseman earlier because I can pick Nick Gonzalez at second base, who's extremely good. Very good second baseman to get here. Probably not going to pick up a reliever. Quickly looking through these. Max Carey. That's a pretty good center fielder. Good OBP, good enough power, good running, good defense, good splits. There's also Pete Rose. So, I could pick Pete Rose to play third base. And then Franco plays short. I could have Pete Rose DH and Franco plays third and Cobb plays right. Pete Rose is really good offense. I think I will secure the center fielder here though. I think there's more options to get a good third baseman. And it's not as important since I have someone to play third. I'll go for the center fielder that I think is pretty good. I do also Baylor can play first, left, right, or DH depending on what I get. Well, I guess he wouldn't play DH because he could play right and then Cobb would play DH. Bobby Abreu is really good. Bobby Abreu can DH and Cobb can play right. Dan McGann can play first maybe. We'll see what else we have, but McGann's a good first baseman. Really high offense. Who's this? JT Snow is going to play first for me. This has got to be a new card. I haven't seen him before. Oh my gosh. He's got good defense at first, insane contact, good OBP to match it up, and good power. Holy crap, JT Snow. Okay. We're picking him. We have Mini Minoso and Yoenis Cespedes too. Jesus Christ. Okay, Yoenis Cespedes is not as good. They're good card. Okay, wait a second. Okay, McGann's not as good as Snow. So Snow's playing first. Baylor's in left. Carey's in center. Cobb is in right. So we need a DH. Or we could play Cobb at DH and we could use right. Or we could play Cobb at DH and Baylor in right and we could use a left fielder. We need a left fielder, right fielder, or DH. Snow's at first. And I have to consider their defense as well. So McGann, I don't think is as good as Abreu. It's close. I'm going to have to compare them. And now if I look at Minoso, God. Okay, let me compare McGann and Minoso. So one added benefit about Minoso too is that he can play backup to third base. Actually, that's really valuable because if he backs up third, Franco can also back up shortstop, assuming I pick a shortstop later. And then I only need to worry about first and second getting backed up. And he could actually just be a backup player, backing up third and short through that, left, right, and DH. Your first backup is as important as all your starters if they are backing up appropriately. So looking at that, I'm looking at he's got more contact, more I, less avoid K. It's in favor of Minoso here. The power, he's got like 30 something gap, 30 less power. It's even. I want to say McGann has better running. Yeah, he's a pretty good base runner. Minoso not as much. Minoso has reverse splits, which is interesting. McGann's a switchy with right-handed pitching favorite splits. Okay, so I'm going to pick. Abreu might be similarly as good. I'm going to pick Minoso and use him as a utility guy. Kind of. I might have him listed starting somewhere, like DH, but then he's going to be listed as the first or only backup for some positions, and then someone else will be backing him up at DH. Ooh, Nick Ahmed's a good shortstop. Okay, if I don't see a better shortstop or better picks, I'm going to pick Nick Ahmed. He has mediocre offense, but really good defense. Moeller's a decent starter. Jarren Duran is solid. Okay, so he can I use him as a utility as well? I have second, first, third. I'd have short. I'd have third and short and left and right backed up through Minoso, and he'd be playing DH a little bit. Duran could do other stuff at DH and back up center and second, and actually he'd be the one backing up right instead of Minoso. Okay, so let me click Ahmed and Duran for now. Vaughn's not good enough considering these other options I have, but he is a good pick. Felipe Lopez not good enough defense. I don't have to pick a reliever yet. Ray Francis is pretty decent. Okay, I think I will pick Ahmed for shortstop. Yeah, I'll have Ahmed and Duran. I still have 2 starters picked, so it's not that bad skipping on the starters here. And let's count the fielders I have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. So those are pretty important, filling the 8 positions up. Sort of Duran and Minoso splitting DH and then filling in elsewhere. But actually, Duran will play in right and Cobb will play DH or something like that. I'll see later exactly how it'll work. But I know that'll work. Duran will actually be starting in right, not DH. So, okay. So I need a catcher and I need starters. Ideally, Talian's not a good starter. Gabby Sanchez is really good against lefties, but it's not worth picking him here. Travis DeArnold, not a very good catcher. It's a pretty good bat against lefties, I guess, but I do like defense. This guy's interesting, but I'm really trying to pick pitchers if I can here, or a catcher. I'm gonna skip on DeArnold. The next catcher I may just have to take though, and then there didn't seem to be a good starter here. Yeah, there was just Talian, who I'll skip on. So I'll pick the 2 best relievers. Carl Willis seems pretty good, about 50, 70, 90 rated. Joe Decker, a bit better than 80, 80, 40. 80, 80, 40 is better than 90, 60, 50. Yeah, I'll lose 10 stuff and 10 control for 20 movement. That's worth it. And then 50, 70, 90 is better than reading right to left 50, 60, 90 because the control is just as important as the stuff, basically. Okay. That's a decent reliever too, but hopefully we get some starters here. Oh wow, Ken Berry. That's a really good center fielder to get this deep. If we were to compare it, he had 95 defense or whatever. Mine's got 87. Okay, Carey's got a lot better offense, but it's because he's gold. This is really good to get in silver. But we don't need him. Looking through, okay, Joe Astroth. I'll pick him at catcher. He's got decent OBP, mediocre power, decent enough defense, I guess. Freddie Leach. Oh, I think there's another player called Terry Leach that's an 89 overall that I was thinking of that plays third and center that's better. Arenado's a really good third baseman to get in silver. And you can sometimes pick him to platoon as well. I'm not sure if he'd be able to platoon here anywhere though, would he? I mean, I could have Franco play short and then Ahmed play third against lefties. If I have nothing else good to pick, I will actually pick him instead of a reliever in order for him to do that. But that's a good reliever, Danny Graves. It is my 3rd reliever in silver though. It also means Minoso won't be really playing third then. It'll just be Arenado. That's okay. There's still enough for them to kind of be splitting around. And we may end up platooning Cobb, just benching him versus lefties, or being a pinch hitter for the catchers or something. I think I'm going to do that. Nolan Arenado is really good to even just use him platooning there. over picking another reliever. Okay, we're in bronze. Now it's a bit bad that we only have 2 starters. I'd say most commonly I have 4 and then 3 and then 5 and then 2, so it's not common for me to only have 2 starters here. Good news is we got John Urea, who's a good bronze starter. You do find bronze starters are oftentimes just as good as silver starters, and we might pick our second catcher as well. If not Luis Torrens, then Yadier Molina. Probably Molina. Yeah, I'll pick Molina. He may even start instead. Let me just look at the rest of these guys real quick. JP Crawford, interesting. Not bad. Okay. We got 3 starters. We got both catchers. We need the only thing we need left is somebody. Do we have someone that plays first among any of these outfielders? Hopefully. Oh, Baylor does, right? Okay, so Baylor is actually able to be the first base backup then, with Minoso playing left in his place. So we only need somebody that can play second. We have third and short covered through Arenado. We have first covered through Baylor. We have center covered through Duran. We have right covered through Cobb. Anyone can play DH. We have left covered through Minoso. Right is also covered by Minoso. We only need someone that can play second, so we can hold off to the last round and kind of just have one bad play there. Aloma's a good reliever. Hopefully I can pick a starter and a reliever here, or 2 starters even. Don't see anything for that. Luis Urias is a good infield backup if you don't have one already. I'm not going to pick him here. Only backing up one position, sort of being like an 11th man or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I already have 10 non-catchers, so. Okay, so let me pick Aloma, and there were no starters here, so I have to pick Bednar. And hopefully we get some starters here. So our starting is going to be weak, unless if we get 2 good, decent ones here. I'm not seeing anything good here. It's unfortunate. I am going to pick pitchers, though. Gosh. Okay, Lee Wheat's a good reliever, so that's good that we got him. So far, our reliever picks are all good. So we have Bednar, it's not bad. And I guess Aloma's pretty good. Yeah, he's extreme fly ball as well. That helps. Extreme fly balls are better because even though you're more likely to get doubles or triples, the batting average is lower, so it's better. The batting average on balls in play is BABIP. You don't have the home runs is dictated by movement. The fly ball tendency doesn't really matter. So Lee Wheat, I don't like Dayton. I'm not gonna pick the second baseman. DeLucia maybe. Steffens isn't good. Schreiber, this is okay. This guy's okay to relieve. So is this only 3 starters then? This is only 3 starters. And I will do that. There's probably going to be 2 offered. We may end up doing a 4-man rotation actually and just having to pick even more relievers. We'll just see what we're offered. Oh, Billy Zitzman, does he play second? No, he plays short. Okay, I was going to say I know that he's a good iron pick often. Okay, so Auchinko, this dude's just as good as whoever was offered to us last round. I'll click him for now. We may have to pitch him. There's Gayer. Cole, really low control. I think he's worse than both of these. Perry will probably have to pick for relief. Oh, Diekman. Wow, he's gone down a lot. I remember him being a decent reliever. I mean, he's still going to be good against lefties, though. So we'll pick him. And then, so that'd be 2 relievers, 2 starters. We need someone that plays second. Please tell me someone plays second here. Someone plays second. Ooh, we got a little screwed here. Do we have a live card? Does this guy have ratings to play second base? No. Any of our infielders live? I don't think so. Ahmed is. Ahmed will have to play second probably. We're going over time, but I think we can spend as much time as we want on the last round actually. I'm gonna check to see if this guy has extreme splits somehow and like decent control versus righties. He does not. These other pitchers aren't worth it. I am gonna have a 5-man rotation. They're just gonna be slower, quick pulls. Nick Heath wouldn't be worth it because I could get Zitzman as a pinch runner instead, and he's useful elsewhere. Navarro's not good. Stu Clark, unfortunately, doesn't play second. He's not good. So we'll just pick Zitzman here then. Okay. So, strength in our offense. Oh, Duran plays second. I forgot about that. We actually had everywhere covered. We're good. We're totally good. Sometimes I make that mistake. I think it's made worse because I was having to talk about everything. It's harder to think as much when you're having to talk. Yeah, and we will have Molina start over Astroth. I'll keep that in. He doesn't particularly have splits. He has quite a bit more eye and power, but less gap against lefties. Astroth's favored a little bit against lefties, and Molina is also favored a little bit against lefties. So we'll just do not every second game. We'll do if tired on Astroth. Let's actually just set up versus righties, and then we'll set up the rest. Although if we do this, okay. Snow at first, yes, absolutely. Gonzalez at second, yes. Franco at third, yes. And he's backing up short, yes. I don't think I want Zitzman to be really backing up at all on anything, so I'm gonna put it at never so he can get substituted in if needed, especially if he's used as a pinch runner, and then he can move around to there. Ahmed, and we have Franco is the shortstop backup. Okay. Baylor is in left, that's good, and then Baylor backs up first, that's good. Carey is in center, that's good. Manoso is in right, and Cobb starts at DH. I think that's fine. Manoso in right, or should I have Duran in right? Well, no, Manoso's the better player, even in right field, so I'll put him there, and Duran will be the one that's backing up. Duran is the one that's worse than Cobb and Manoso, so he should be the backup. If I sort by overall, he should be the backup. Now, Arenado is the backup at third. Okay. Good. And has Manoso and DH. Okay, so I think, let me do this. So Manoso is not going to move to third, but Manoso is going to move to left and is going to move to DH. Backup. So let me do every third game for Duran here. Every fifth game for Duran here. Carry. That's fine. And then because he's already backing those up, he can fill in second base whenever. If you just do if starter tired everywhere, you can run into the issue where everyone gets tired the same game. And then they can only play one, and then they back up another, and then they back up another, and it's a bit of a hassle. So I'm doing at least every third game in right field because then Manoso can move around to left and right if needed. Do I want Arenado to DH over Duran? I don't know. Maybe actually. That's fine, I guess. Okay, Arenado can do that. But then, yeah, I still want Franco and Ahmed where they are, so I'm not going to move them. Arenado, I'm not going to do this on because Ahmed will be benched against lefties already, and even if we get a string of righties, it's only two, say Franco and Ahmed get tired at the same time. Arenado can play one, and then he'll play the other, and it's not that bad. And Arenado won't be tired when Ahmed's tired, because the only way Arenado would get tired is if he's played a lot against lefties, and then Ahmed's been benched a lot, so that's fine. Okay, Baylor backing up first though, with Minoso having to play left. So Minoso is connected to left, right, and first. Duran will probably have to play more than every third game there. That's fine for right now. Well, let me see this. We have these guys starting. We have Arenado and Duran. Arenado is covering third and short. I think he should be the first one for DH. Because Duran can only cover so much. So counting his direct covers of center and right, he's also indirectly covering left. He's directly covering second, center, and right. He's also indirectly covering left and first, which is 5 positions, which is a lot. And he may actually have to get some other help. So I'm fine with doing, you know what, if starter tired in center field for Zitzman. Zitzman can back up center field. That's acceptable. He's most useful there. Okay. Yeah. And Arenado, I will make the DH backup, the primary DH backup, before Minoso. Okay. So let's copy this depth chart, paste this depth chart, and now I have Franco starting in short and Arenado starting at third. And I guess we will make it, if Franco needs to rest, we'll say if starter tired against lefties at short. Ideally, Franco doesn't get tired when we're playing lefties and he gets tired against righties. Actually, not a... Wait a second. No. Not Zitzman. Wait a second. Ahmed. Yeah, Ahmed over Zitzman, of course. Okay, Ahmed should be the one playing against lefties if Franco is short. And so essentially this would just be Arenado playing third, Ahmed playing short, which is the same here with Arenado playing third, Ahmed playing short if Franco gets tired. Okay. And then I'll still list... well, I guess Minoso has to be first there now. Arenado is only going to play third with no backup against lefties. Unless if a team has literally all lefties, this is okay. If they have 4 lefties and 1 righty, this is still fine. Or maybe not, because then he'd have to... Against the righty, he'd have to be backing up Ahmed. Zitzman, even though it says never, Zitzman will fill in then. I think. That's also unlikely to happen. Okay, so that's the only changes I want to do there. That's fine. Let's ask for lineups. Carey's not first. It's always terrible. Okay, Cobb and then Franco probably, and then Snow. 96, 79, 73. Yeah, this is fine. I'll put the switch hitter in there to break up the lefties. And then Baylor. I don't know if Carey's next. No, Minoso would be in front of them. Yeah. I could put Baylor behind Minoso. No, it's fine this way. Also, Baylor will be there against lefties ahead of him. Nick Gonzalez goes ahead of Carey as well. Okay, this is correct though. Molina last. Ahmed second to last. Then Carey is 7th. Gonzalez here. Yeah, I think Minoso should be ahead of him. Minoso will go below Gonzalez against lefties. Let's copy the lineup. Paste the lineup. So I know Gonzalez is ahead of Minoso here. Otherwise, this is still fine, I think. 67, 67, 69. 90, 53, 35, 52. Carey's faster. I could put Carey ahead of Minoso here. We'll see depending on where these lefties move to. I think Franco should be leading off now. Cobb is not as good. Snow is pretty good. Baylor is batting second. Gonzalez is certainly better than Cobb. I think they'll go ahead of Snow as well. I think Snow, and then Carey. Oh, let me 75, 58, 87. 75, 58, 87. Yeah, Cobb can go ahead of Minoso. We'll go lefty, switch lefty here. No, well, doesn't. Yeah, he's actually better against lefties when he bats right-handed. Okay. Ahmed here. Ahmed 8th, and Molina's still behind him, right? Yep, okay. This is pretty good. This actually ended up being really good. I thought there was going to be the one problem with second base not being covered, but I forgot about Duran. Okay. And so we have, you know, Duran and Astroth being backs up. We do have Zitzman in center backing up, and a little bit at short, and then also Never as a backup in the, or I guess Never backup for short left and right, just as a little extra bit. Okay, pitching. So this is the starting is the weak point. Look at the starters. So Gayer goes ahead of Auchenko. I'll say that much right. Oop. That's for sure. It goes Valenzuela 1, yes. Asalasi 2, yes. Araya 3. You have 2 really good top, pretty good third. 4th and 5th are bad. We have 8 relievers. Let's look at the relievers now. We're going to want these 3 to stay in as long as they can. And then the relievers can pitch more against Gayer and Auchenko. Or pitch more when those 2 are in. So Decker, is Decker the closer, or should Willis be the closer? Let me see here. 30 stuff and 12 movement for 46 control. I think I actually want Willis to be the closer because it's more consistent with the lower walks. He's not necessarily the better pitcher, but I think, well, no, but the higher movement's also part of being consistent. If you're really high stuff and control and low movement, then oh, this is hard. Okay, no, this is. Oh, I'm getting tired. No, it's fine. It's fine. Decker can close. Decker can close. Okay. So Willis will be the setup man. High leverage. High leverage. Aloma will be a middle reliever used more often. Secondary setup. Actually, I think Lee Wheat is better than him. Okay, Lee Wheat will be used more often. Setup. Aloma will just be used more often. Bednar will be normal usage. Schreiber is pretty decent. He'll be normal usage. Schreiber also has big splits, so if I do use more often, he'll just kind of get thrown in whenever. But with normal usage, it will, based on the strategy settings, care about the splits some. Pat Perry is good against lefties. Should be middle relief and is actually not the worst. I'll keep it normal usage. Jake Diekman should be used less often though, and also a specialist. Or I could have him specialist first, but I think I'd rather do use less often, so he still gets thrown in to like low leverage situations is what ends up happening. But he can still be a specialist against lefties. Which might not happen that often with all these lefty starters. Now, strategy. So I usually do pretty sabermetric. Let me look at how we steal. We have some good stealers. We have Zitzman and Duran to pinch run. Duran, I don't want being a pinch runner because he has to back up so much. I don't want him to be a pitch hitter either. Arenado can. He's only backing up 3 positions. Astroth, I guess, can. Yeah, Astroth might like pinch hit for Molina, or maybe Ahmed. Yeah, I guess that might happen. Yeah, Astroth could do one of those too. Zitzman would never be pinch hitting for anyone. But he can be a pinch runner. Let me change it on the other one too. So it would just be Astroth here because Arenado's starting. And then we don't want Duran pinch running because that'll make him more tired. And then Zitzman can be the pinch hitter here. I don't want the defensive subs being done either. Because Duran's going to be split a lot of places. I don't want him to be split. Okay. So I'm gonna do these guys individually. So Valenzuela can be on the slowest hook possible. Asalasi can be on 3 ticks slow. Maybe 4. 4? Should I go 4? I'm gonna go 3 because of the lower stamina. Aurea, I'm gonna make 2 ticks slow. I could go 3 here. And I'm gonna put Gayer and Alchinko on the quickest hooks, which they may still play a long time as long as they're doing well, but if they start doing poorly, they get hooked. And it does take into account the stamina of your bullpen into consideration. So like if the bullpen's exhausted, if you don't have any relievers, they're not getting hooked until they're exhausted themselves, So the bullpen will be tired probably after those two, and then hopefully Valenzuela will regularly do like 8 or 9 innings. 105 stamina with slowest hook should be able to get a lot of innings normally. Also for strategy, I will... Okay, so these guys, I don't care about the pitching matchup. Does it do that here? I was gonna do the new they expanded the pitching strategy things here. Looks like they don't do handedness, unfortunately. They have pitch hitting platoon usage. That's it. I was going to set it to not care at all for the first 3 starters so that they wouldn't get hooked for that reason, and then increase it here for lefty-righty pitching matchup, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, but this should be fine. And I feel like this is a pretty good team. This is still a good team. Okay, let's look at our defense. Let's evaluate everything. So first, let's look at our defense. At catcher, it's pretty decent. We have Molina first, 78 ability, 72 arm, and Astroth backup, 54, 68. I'd say this is decent. First base, JT Snow, great. Gonzalez, pretty decent. Arenado, part of the time at third is amazing. Franco, the other part of the time at third is amazing. We have Franco and Ahmed at short, which is pretty good. Baylor in left, which is good enough. Carey is solid in center. Duran, whenever he's backing up second, center, right, it's definitely good in center and right. It's okay. Elsewhere, if Zitzman has to play anywhere, it's meh. It's okay. Cobb only plays DH. Minoso plays just left, right, and DH. Mostly just left and right, which is meh. It's okay. Overall, the fielding, I'd say, is better than average. It's solid. The left and right defense don't matter that much, is the big thing, which is where our weak spots are. If we look at offense, this is stacked. Like, Ahmed and Molina are like pushing us down a little bit. You could even say Carey is, but look how good Franco is, and Baylor, and Snow, and Minoso, and Gonzalez, and Cobb, right? And Carey's good too. The offense is stacked, and look at our first 2 backups, which are pretty important. Duran and Arenado, it's stacked. Our backup catcher is Joe Astroth. That's really good offense for a backup catcher. I usually don't have that. I'd say I have a backup catcher that good. Not often. I had to spend a silver on it. It's kind of the bad thing. Zitzman, we have extra as a pinch runner, is okay. He's not really going to get used, though. He's still going to play some... He's going to end up playing some games, but not much. Okay, let's look at the starting. Our top one starter is pretty good. Unless if you're picking a perfect, you're not really going to get better than this. This is good diamond. Asalasi's a really good gold. Urea is as good of a bronze as a lot of silvers are. I'd say our top three, a lot of people put good stuff into pitching. I'd say our top three starters are average. Our bottom two are bad. Our bottom two are pretty bad. Now relievers are okay. They're worse than average. So the weak part here, the weak spot is going to be pitching. But our defense is good. I think I've set it up so if we can use the relievers more and not use the bottom two starters as much, we won't be that much worse overall. And we may get like average pitching performance with the defense. That's the hope. We get average pitching performance on average. And then we just destroy them with really good offense. Really, this is a really good offense. That's the hope. So what will happen? I don't know. Maybe I'll wait, what is it, 3-4 days? Maybe I'll wait 4.5 days and update you then. We'll see.